Hey guys, welcome back to this lecture, Authentication in Prometheus. In this lecture, we will learn the basics of authentication and how it is supported by Prometheus. Okay, so we will start with this lecture. Prometheus supports the basic authentication, means we can create an authentication mechanism where we will pass the username and password to Prometheus, okay, to access it. Now this authentication can be used while accessing Expression browser and HTTP API, means whenever you access the Prometheus console, you might have noticed that we have never passed a username or password or any kind of authentication we have never passed to access the console. So what actually is happening there? So till now we have not implemented any authentication in Prometheus. Okay, and the same is with the HTTP API, although we are not making it currently, but in the future when we'll work on it, you will see any HTTP API request that you are making to Prometheus that should be authenticated to access the resource. Okay, now basic auth is also supported for connections from Prometheus instances to scrap targets. That means it can also be implemented between Prometheus server and your scraping targets from where Prometheus scraps the metric. This way, any request from Prometheus to scrap metric from the targets, that should be authenticated. Okay, now fourth is, in basic HTTP authentication, a request contains a header field in the form of authorization basic and then credential, where credential is the base 64 encoding of ID and password joined by a single colon. So what is actually happening here, whenever we make a basic HTTP authentication request, a header is passed in your request, and that header is of the form of authorization basic and then credential. And now what that credential part consists of, that basically is an base 64 encoded combination of ID and password, which is separated by colon. So you can easily go into the network tab, you can check for this particular request, and you can decode this credential and you can get the username and password from that request. So that is how it works. Now Prometheus reads the authentication from web configuration file and can be passed to Prometheus process using --web.config.file command line flag. Much like we were referencing the Prometheus configuration file, that is prometheus.yml file in Prometheus process using --config.file command line flag. The same way, this particular web configuration file can be passed to Prometheus process using --web.config.file command line flag. So this was about this lecture. In the next lecture, we will actually implement the authentication and we will see how it works. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.